Yo guys, so this is a drunk history of the West, and I wanted to take it in a little bit of a different direction. And I wanted to do a drunk history of Western China. I want to tell you guys about my favorite Chinese warlord, and I have several, but I'm going to tell you about my favorite. But here's the thing, I've been drinking, and my emotional acting range is basically guy from Queens, New York. What's up? What's up? And drunk guy from Queens, New York. So I'm going to be a Chinese warlord for you guys as a drunk guy from Queens, New York. I'm Cao Cao, Chinese pronunciation Cao Cao. And Chinese people still talk about me to this day because I'm known to be ruthless in Chinese history. But really, I just did what I had to do to get power. And the thing about me that people misunderstand is that, yeah, sure, I killed people from time to time. But in the areas I conquered, I built agriculture, rice fields, and schools. And that's what they don't tell you about me. There's even the Chinese expression where, you know how we say, speak of the devil and the devil comes? They use my name for that expression in China. Cao Cao. And I'm going to tell you three things. I'm going to tell you about how I first came to power. I'm going to tell you about my first big L that I caught. And then I'm going to tell you about my most famous victory, which is my favorite. So basically, I started off year 187 AD, ancient China. And in China at the time, there were some eunuchs. You guys know what eunuchs are? Yeah, yo, someone said it. So basically they're dudes who get their dick chopped off or their balls chopped off because they think that you can't make correct decisions if you have a dick. I see a lot of women nodding right now. And as I'm saying it out loud, it kind of makes sense. But here's the thing, these eunuchs, these guys without dicks, who were controlling the imperial court, were corrupt. And everyone knew that they were corrupt, but I was the only one who was like, yeah, fuck that, let's fucking ride on these motherfuckers. And I went to the court, and I got my mans with me, and I was like, yo, let's go in that castle and stab these motherfuckers up. And we went in, and I was like, yo, kill everyone that doesn't got a mustache right now. And we did that, and maybe I killed some innocent people, whatever. But we took control of power, and they were like, yo, Cao Cao, you did such a good thing, we're gonna throw you a banquet, a party. And it was like, they were throwing me this party, and I was walking by, and I heard them say, they were like, I went to the bathroom to take a piss. And I'm lying, it was a shit, but whatever. And I went to go take this piss, and I heard them say like, yo, blindfolded, and cut him up. And I went to go and talk to my boy Chang'an, he was my main dude at the time. And I was like, yo, Chang'an, these motherfuckers are trying to kill us, we gotta get them before they get us. And he's like, all right, no doubt. So we bust into the place, and we stab these people up, and there's like 8 dudes in there, there's some women in there, we kill them all. It was fucked up. It was fucked up. And then he looks at me, Chang'an looks at me, and he's like, yo, Cao Cao, there's a blindfolded pig right there. And there's a sharpening block, and there's the knife we were talking about. We just killed innocent people. And I was like, word? Damn, that's not bad. That's not bad. So we went to go leave the scene, and as soon as we left the scene, our host, who was hosting the banquet, Lu Boucher, he came in and he was like, yo, I got food, I got wine, it's about to be lit, yo, we're gonna throw you this party. And I killed him too. I killed him real quick. And then Chang'an was like, yo, you just killed this dude's family. Is that not enough for you? Why did you have to kill this man? And I was like, yo, think about it. He's gonna come back to his house, see his murdered family, and he's gonna come after us. I just saved our lives, Chang'an. And that was too much for him. And he turned his back on me, and he left. And that was my main man. And at this point, I said one of the most famous quotes I'm known for. Chinese people still say it today. And it's, I'd rather turn my back on the world than have the world turn its back on me. And I would need this advice when I took my first big L. Year 197, Wan Castle, modern day China, Nanyang. I'm flexing right now. I did my fucking research for this shit. I'm not fucking around. Zhengzhu's castle, and I was about to invade him, and then he was like, I surrender. And I was like, are you for real? That's fantastic. I didn't really want to fight you that hard anyway. And I was like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna throw your ass a party because this is how I want all my enemies to behave. So I go to his house and his castle or whatever, and I'm throwing him a party, and we're drinking and shit like that. And I'm like, yo, thanks for the land. Ah. I'm like this. I was like that. And then I see this fine little shorty on the side dish, right? And I'm trying to check her out and like talk to her or whatever. And I'm like, hey girl, you wanna be my main concubine? Because that's how it was in ancient China at the time. And then my main advisor, Guo Jia, he was like, yo, see, like, yo, chill. That's the homie's brother's widow. That's his brother's widow. Chill. And I was like, so you want to be my main concubine? But I didn't really ask her. I just took her as my main concubine because this is ancient China and I'm a gangster. So that was fucked up. I did that, but it was the year 197. Come on. You know what I'm saying? So I went in there and I took her, and Zhengzhu was like, yo, he just took my brother's widow. Fuck that dude. We're gonna kill him. And I knew he was kind of mad at me, so I might have tried to have him assassinated a little bit. And he saw that, and then next thing I know, it's the middle of the night, and I'm asleep. I'm lying. I'm laying the pipe on his wife. And then flaming arrows start coming through my room. And motherfuckers dressed in all black come in and they started killing people. And I'm like, fuck. Yo, my bodyguard comes in and they drugged him. He was my main bodyguard. He was a scary dude. And he starts fighting people left and right. He runs out of weapons. He starts beating people with other people. I try to escape on my horse. My horse catches an arrow through the neck. This is my favorite horse. You gotta understand that. I fall off the horse. I break my arm. Also, my oldest son and my nephew died. That's not as important. I narrowly escape. And people are like, yo, see, like, you good? You good? And I'm like, yo, they killed my mans. They killed my favorite horse. And my oldest son and my nephew, whatever. I didn't really care about them that much. And then this is what I was thinking at the time. This is my second most famous quote. I said, remember your mistakes, act on your mistakes, but never admit your mistakes. And I never admitted that one. But this is the last part, my biggest win. Year 202, Guandu. You've heard of it. Guandu. I'm starting to get power. People are starting to talk about me like, ooh, Cao Cao's doing his thing. Ooh, he's getting hot now. He's got a lot of land and shit. And I'm like, word. But you know when you start getting popping, you start to get more haters. And I had this one fucking hater, this dude, Juan Chow. I came up with him actually. And he was never that smart. And I was controlling the west of China and the south of China at the time. And we would clash at the north. We had a battle. He had 110,000 troops. I had 20,000. But I was patient. And I fought him to a standstill in many locations because I had the superior land advantage. And I held him. And then he did what I knew he was gonna do. He got frustrated. He was like, yo, fuck all this strategy shit. I got more men, let's just fucking do it. That's what I was waiting for though. So I let him come in on me. Came around, burned his supply lines on him, took all his food, ate that shit up. No food, no army. I fucked him up so bad, he started getting heart problems at the time. You ever do that? You ever beat someone so bad they get heart problems? Like you play like a 3-hour game of Monopoly or something, and then like your friends start to lose, and he's like, oh, and you're like, yeah, you feel that. You feel that. That's what I was doing to him with a little bit higher stakes. So I beat him, and I beat his army of 110,000. But now I'm faced with the biggest problem of my life. I have 100,000 of his troops with my 20,000. I can't absorb him into my army. I can't absorb those 100,000 troops, otherwise they'll overthrow me. But I can't let them go either. Because if I let them go, they're gonna come back for me. And I can't kill them too. Because killing 100,000 people would be hard on my men and take all my resources and time. So I did something a little bit fucked up. I buried 100,000 people alive. What would you do? But you know what I did with the land where I buried those 100,000 men? I built rice fields and schools.